We're going live, John. Hey guys, welcome in. All right, guys, welcome in. It's Brad with College SportsCast.
It's been a while, Brad.
To do a combo show between the Big Fuss and our GameDay Pick'em show.
Can I please have your attention? There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
It's been a while, Brad. Just trying to get the kinks out.
Yes, it has been a while. Break. And it has been a while since we have been on with you guys. We're doing this a lot later than I intended to do this show. It is Sunday night, but we are here to do our pick'ems and a few topics and things like that for our college football playoff games that are coming up in a couple of days. So if you are with us, make more content for you guys, or you can also month is all that is. All right, Hammonds. This thing, is it going in and out?
Yeah, really bad.
Okay. We haven't done this for a little while, so let me see if this helps. Thought I would try it and see if it will or not. I don't know if it'll help or not. All right. Maybe that'll help. I tried to plug in to see if that'll help or not.
It might be some of the weather, too. The weather's kind of –
Do you got?
yeah, it's kind of bad.
It could be.
Kind of bad here a little bit. Yeah.
It's kind of storming here a little bit.
Yeah, and I think next week they're giving really harsh weather.
Stormy.
Cold weather.
Actually raining pretty hard.
They're giving snow in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be pretty bad here in January. So,
absolutely. All right, John. So we're going to get things started. We'll pay tribute to Greg Gumbel. I know you said you wanted to do pretty much the face for a long time.
he was a big icon when it comes to college sports, college basketball. Every time that I would turn on the NCAA tournament or selection show, you would always see Greg Gumbel. He does have a brother, Bryant Gumbel, that did some work on CBS and others as well, broadcasting. They're coming from a good family. He has a great wife, great kids. Just a tough thing to go through. He passed away due to cancer. They let that out yesterday. Just a tough situation. He was one of my all-time favorite March Madness folklores because, he was all I was used to growing up. You saw him on the road to the Final Four. You saw him on the selection show. You saw him on the Thursday and Fridays of the early games. He would come on right out of the gate, and he would always be cheerful and happy with Clark Kellogg and all the crew that was in the booth with him in the studio. So tough loss for the college basketball world.
Always at the
Are you there, Brad?
I am. Yeah. I don't know, guys. Can you not hear me at all?
It's like you're going in and out.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
No, isn't that right?
It's like I'm waiting on you or something. I don't know.
How about now?
Weather.
It must be the weather or something. I don't know.
I don't know either. So I done it in here a couple of times and it seems to be fine. And then you do it in here another time and it seems to not be fine. So who knows? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better a little bit now. Yeah.
All right. I'm not sure what's going on with it. I do know it's pouring down rain outside. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. But
Yeah, it's raining here pretty
all
heavy.
right. So to kind of finish up on my end about Greg Gumbel, I mean, he's not only March Madness, but I mean CBS, NFL, pretty much all my life. He worked for 5 decades as the host of those shows. NFL on CBS and March Madness. And my biggest surprise, John, was that he was 78. Like I thought,
Yeah, he was.
like he did not look 78.
No,
He was just on March Madness and
Yeah, I think it was last year he took a leave of absence. They never really mentioned what was going on. They said that there was some family health concerns, and I'm guessing that had a little bit to do with him. And they did give a warm welcome
Yeah.
to him and said prayed for his family and told his family that they was wishing him all the luck. It's just not March Madness selection show without Greg Gumbel. And I made a post on X earlier that said that the tribute on Selection Sunday is going to be really hard to watch. And it is, because it's going to be tough not seeing Greg in his chair, him aggravating Charles Barkley or Clark Kellogg or Kenny Smith. Like it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a whole new setup. But to know that he moved a lot of people, and he, seeing the comments, the ex people giving out tributes, it showed that he was loved by every single person in the industry. And for me, that says a lot about who Greg Gumbel was and what he meant to those people.
I agree. 100%. He'll be missed, and prayers are out to him and his family. And I'm not sure, where we go as far as replacing him on as the host of a lot of these shows, Sports Desk, that we are used to seeing. So, all right. So maybe it's doing a little bit better right now. So my next question is John, should Nick Saban be the college football commissioner?
No, I don't. I think he should have a lot of say in what goes on in college football, because he's a smart guy. He built Alabama to where they are now. But he's got a lot of issues that he's talked about within the portal, NIL. He's let a lot of people know how he feels about it. I think this past weekend he made some comments about Ohio State and Michigan in certain areas there. So I think he has to have a lot of say. But to say for him to be the commissioner, I just don't. I think he should be a guy that they kind of consult with.
Well, I don't know if you caught it or not, but James Franklin, the Penn State coach, I think it might have been earlier today, said that he thought Nick Saban should be the commissioner for college football.
Yeah, I've seen that. Saban's one of those guys that just he ain't afraid to say what he wants to say. And the thing about Saban is he's won 7 national championships, 6 at Alabama, and he won 1 at LSU, which now he's an analyst for College Game Day. I think he has a lot of say in what goes on and how he should feel and what he says. He means what he says when he says things. And, whether you like it or whether you don't like it, I think Nick Saban is one of those guys that you just –
One of the things he did a few days ago, John, that I really think he's got a very strong point on is you don't need free agency twice a year. I mean, that's just insane. Because that's what we got going on.
Well,
these kids are jumping ship.
Here's my thing.
Twice a year, not once a year, twice in college football.
Here's my thing with that whole thing, Brad. We've got to come up with some solutions. With how the portal and the NIL is worked out. We've seen the big conference realignment. We saw the college football playoff expanded from 4 to 12. We've had looser transfer rules with the portal for these athletes to make more money through their name, image, and likeness, like I said. The timing of this has come under scrutiny a little bit. where the early signing period for high school and the opening of the portal all happen in between the end of the regular year and the start of the college football playoff and bowl games. That means that we're having coaches preparing for important games, recruiting players, re-recruiting their own type guys on their roster to avoid playing in the portal, and then they're trying to look for outside additions in the portal. And to me, that's an issue. While there has been some positives with all this, and you got players having more opportunities to find better situations via the portal and earn a chance to make more money. There's also a disadvantage at this. There's no rules in place. I always said it's sort of like the Wild Wild West. Franklin brought up a good point, Brad. He was all for eliminating conference championship games and having every league play the same amount of conference games to create an easier way for the college football selection committee to compare resumes. As for Saban, like you said, he's the gold standard. Like I said, he won 6 national titles. He spent the last, year at College GameDay. And I don't think he wants all those responsibilities, I don't think, and taking care of all that stuff. But there needs to be a commissioner in college football, and there needs to be a change with the portal and how it's operated in between the regular season and the college football playoff and the bowl games. Because if you let this continue,
well,
it's just going to get worse.
One of the last shows that me and you did together, I talked about the calendar has to be fixed.
It does.
The calendar for college football has to be fixed.
It does. I'm
that's
with you.
One thing here. I mean, we talked about that last time. I really didn't want to dig into that because we talked about it on one of the last shows we did. But having a commissioner that can set the rules, and having a college football commissioner who can then enforce the rules. Because here's the problem with college football right now. Here's the problem with the NCAA right now, is that there are rules. Unfortunately, the court system has made the NCAA non-enforceable. They can't enforce anything. That's the problem.
You really want to know where this is going? Me and my dad had this conversation at Christmas Eve night. This is all going towards money. You look at Jim Larinaga. He announced last week he resigned at Miami mid-season. And he talked about how the professionalism of college sports, particularly due to NIL, was part of the reason why he was dipping down.
It was more towards the portal. Because of the portal. He got Miami to the wait a second. He got Miami to the Final Four, and the very first meeting he had with his team, 8 of the players, after getting Miami to a Final Four, 8 of them put their name in the portal.
Yeah, but he mentioned the free agency too. He mentioned part of the NIL was a lot to do with it.
That's the portal. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, but that's there's some major issues, and if you want to know what I think, John, here's what I think. If you want to get to that, let's get to this, because I'm going to lay out a plan. I think it's pretty damn simple, to be honest with you. It's not complicated. There was a rookie scale in the NBA that was created 20 years ago. This has been around for 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple. NIL, you make it contracts, signable contracts. I don't care if you have to make them employees. I don't care what you do. signable contracts, and there is a scale, just like the rookie contracts.
Mm-hmm.
1 year, the max you can sign for is $1 million. 2 years, the max you can sign for is $2 million per year. 3 years, the max you can sign for is up to $3 million per year. It's a signable contract. You can't get out of it. You can choose to do 1 year at a time and still jump the portal, but you can only make $1 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can choose to go to 3 years and make $3 million per year, but you have to stay at that school and you can't jump in the portal.
Well, Rusty Davis.
These kids are tied to contracts.
Rusty Davis made a good comment down here. He said,
It's that simple.
what about the players redshirting themselves in week 3 or 4 or whatever because they plan to go in the portal? What happens with their NIL money?
If you have signable contracts, Rusty, that can't happen. If they have signed a contract for a 2-year deal, they can't jump in the portal anymore. It's a signed 2-year deal.
I think this too would open up a
They
can.
can't do that.
This right here can open up a can of worms too, Brad, because if you get a guy, say he's not getting playing time, right? He signs a contract, he wants to leave. Well, then he's out wanting out, and he's into it with the coaches and the fans, and then he's stuck there.
It's the
With that
same
contract.
deal in the NBA.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that's going to open up another can of worms too, though, because you're going to have chemistry issues with the players, with them signing those contracts.
Listen, these kids have always been stuck at a school for 2 or 3 years. All this crap that we're seeing now, John, has just been around for 3 or 4 years.
They brought up a good point the other night. Cam McCormick. He's a tight end for
Jonathan. Listen,
for
I love the idea. I love the idea of only allowing one transfer. However, the NCAA tried that for the last 5 years, and the court systems ruled against it. The problem with that, and what people still talk about, is that it can't be done because the courts ruled against it. So you can't do that. That's literally what the rule was by the NCAA that they tried to enforce. But the court system didn't allow them to do it.
That's like with Cam McCormick. If most people don't know who he is, he plays for Miami. He's a tight end. Played at Oregon. He's been in college for 9 years. And to be fair, though, to him, he's had some injuries. There was a couple of seasons where he couldn't play. He was injured.
Yeah,
but still. 9 years in college, to me, that's just, what are we doing?
John, that gets me to this thing. That gets me to this. Because now they're trying to give JUCO players another year. Imagine that. How about, we're getting to a point, we're going to have 30-year-olds in college playing sports. Let's be honest. We're going to have 28, 29, 30-year-olds in college.
Does Perry Ellis ring a bell? Play for Kansas?
I'm not even it's getting absolutely ridiculous. No, I'm not talking about the seeming stuff. There's been guys that I thought seemed like they've been around. I'm talking about we are getting to a point in college sports where they are actually going to be 28, 29, and 30-year-olds that are still competing in college sports. It is insane. What happened to the school side of this? What happened to the credits? What happened to the education side of this? There is no way on the face of this earth that anybody should be allowed to still compete in college past, let's throw a number out, 6 years. You can redshirt a year. They're even talking about giving everybody an extra year, a 5th year, kind of like the COVID year. I'm not against that. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you do it, 6 years and you're done.
Yeah.
It's college.
See,
We're talking about college here. We're talking about classes. We're talking about graduation. You don't go to college to be a teacher and stick around college for the next 8, 9, 10 years. It's college. It's an education. We've got to quit treating this like it is an occupation or a job, a career for these college students.
Well, you look,
because that's what they are.
You look at what Brock did today. Brock like guys like Brock Vanderdrift, he retired from football. He just left it, and
yeah,
we're going to see some of that too in college ball because some of them took too many hits. Some of them have, their bodies are getting wore down. That's another.
Yeah, you're gonna see more and more of that with kids playing 8 years, 9 years in college.
By the way, I wish Brock Vanderdrift the best.
It's just it's getting.
That's one thing I wanted to say on here. I wish him the best. He took a lot of hits this year, and he tried to make it happen, tried to make it work, and it just didn't pan out like we thought it would. And he's a really good dude. Brock is. Georgia boy, loves to hunt. He's a good old country boy. Hopefully, he can find peace beyond football, and I wish him the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. In the old days, yeah, they played 3 years. The body can develop. They moved on to the NFL. Now, kids are trying to stay in college because they can make money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that we treat these athletes like they are employees. I don't care about that. I get it. If they're going to make money, there is a employee side to this. But, however, we are still educators, and these are still somebody's children, young adults, but children that are supposed to be getting an education and going towards a career, not sticking around in college for 10 years.
I was always taught growing up that college got you ready for the real world. Jobs, like you said, getting out in the real world and trying to make a living for yourself. Now, on certain degrees, though, Brad, some of these kids are not going to be playing in the NFL. Let's just be real. Some of them are not going to make it NBA, NFL, NHL.
And they're lucky that they're getting to play in a college era where they can make money.
Yes, but now you're going to have some.
Most people in my life didn't get that.
Now you're going to have some from the NFL, NHL that are so good that they're going to get to play professional. And then that changes things when it comes to the money thing because, and then when I look at it from the backside of the kids that are just wanting to stay in college because they're probably not going to have a professional career, they're trying to make extra money. And do you blame them for wanting to do that? I do not. Putting extra money to their name to play college ball, I don't. Like you said, there needs to be rules in place. There needs to be some like you said, a commissioner, somebody
has to
that
be
can
enforceable rules.
Enforceable rules.
Yes.
Because right now it's like the wild, wild west. And
Yes.
and it's just like out of control. And
but the reason why it's that way is the court system has made the NCAA irrelevant. That's the reason why it's that way.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to our game day pick'ems.
I like when Brad gets.
We have got
this is called the big
about
fuss.
10 or 11
the big fuss. I like Brad when he goes on a big fuss on the big fuss.
The big fuss.
Wireman.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to our game day pick'ems.
That's pretty good. Oh, by the way, Wireman, just so everybody knows, today is Anthony.
I've been known to do that.
Today is Anthony Wireman's birthday. So give him a shout out. Happy birthday, Wireman. I heard you was 23 today. Did not know you was that young. Wireman.
Wireman is something else.
He's a sight, but happy birthday to him, though.
All right. I thought his birthday was yesterday, but if it was, I think. But anyway, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
65th birthday.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm getting old, he says.
Oh me.
Oh, goodness.
Maybe he caught that. Maybe he didn't. I don't know.
He might have. Oh.
All right, John, we're going to move on. We got a few bowl games we're going to talk about here. The first one is tomorrow, Iowa versus Missouri. Missouri is a 2.5-point favorite. Before we jump completely into this, let's talk about some of the wild stuff that's going on in these bowl games for just a second. What's your take on – have you paid too much attention to these games? We got brawls. We got players quitting at halftime. I mean, like, this is crazy stuff going on.
Well, and that's the negative aspect of it, but the positive aspect of it, you've had some really good games. You've had, Rutgers and Kansas State go down to the final wire. You had the Toledo Pitt game going to 6 overtimes. Like, there's a good side and there's a bad side to these bowl games. And I think the good outweighs the bad sometimes, but it is kind of crazy to see what we've seen. We had a referee get bloodied in the middle of a brawl. He got hit.
Yeah.
And he got bloodied.
It's just been some wild stuff.
It's been some crazy stuff happening. So, and it ain't even over yet. Like we still got games this week.
Right.
We got games after the first of the year. So we still got some time to go before all this ends.
So these games are all going to be played by the end of next Thursday that we're doing tonight, because we will do another game day pick'em on Friday night this week. This is Iowa and Missouri. Missouri's a 2.5-point favorite, John, on DraftKings.
I think I'm going to go Iowa in this game. You look at across the board for Missouri, you're probably going to have a lot of opt-outs for Missouri. Possibly Luther Burden's going to opt out. They'll probably have some defensive guys opt out. I was allowed
Garbage
only
drafting Carson Beck.
I was allowed probably more than 21 points in only 2 games this year. Missouri struggled against the run late in the season. Will Caleb Johnson play for Iowa? That's another question. But I think Iowa wins this game. Maybe 3-4 points. I think they cover the spread in this game.
These bowl games are so hard to pick anymore because half the players aren't there anymore. I mean, they're just so hard. The teams aren't the same. You got transfers in the portal. I mean, it's so hard. I mean, even these college football playoff games that we're going to talk about, it's insane what's going on. That's why the calendar has to change. I mean, something's got to change and be different because I'm going to be honest with you. I love college football, but it's getting harder and harder for me to pay attention to these bowl games. It really is. Like, it's completely different. It's almost like it's a different team that's going there to play.
Well, it is
not even the same season.
I mean,
almost.
It's a bunch of back. You got backups. You got guys that normally don't play that play. You got redshirt guys.
I know.
That probably
And it's not, but it feels like it's not even the same season, John.
No,
and that's what
I agree with.
I
you.
have an issue with it. It feels like the season has ended, and we are somehow in this crazy spring realm of transfer portal where everybody's jumping ship, going everywhere. That's what we are.
Yeah,
we're in the spring right now. That's
where
we are.
It's
that's
like
what bowl season is.
It's like we're in a Twilight Zone type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's where we are right now. So, like, I want to pick Missouri. I think this Missouri team and Eli Drinkwitz has done a great job there. They were 9-3. So was Iowa, I believe, or 8-4, 9-3 this year. I'm going to take Missouri, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know enough about either team to know anywhere near about how many players each team has lost since the season ended. That's what I'm going to call it. Because to me, that's what it feels like. The season's already ended.
Yep.
And it gets real hard to even talk about, in my opinion. All right, Bama and Michigan. Any other time, this would be a huge game. Yeah. I would be all into it. I know Jalen Milroe was playing. That helps. I know that, Bama's got several people that are playing in this game. I feel like Bama has that kind of an advantage. They're a 13.5-point favorite in this bowl game, John. And this used to be one of the bigger bowls.
It is.
Are people paying attention to it?
I mean, you're probably going to have opt-outs, like we said, for Iowa, Missouri. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Michigan on the defensive side, that Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, those are 2 guys in the middle of that defense that might opt out, might stay in. Who knows? Alabama was snubbed from the college football playoff. Michigan, they didn't have a great offense all year around Davis Warren. This game's not going to look like last year's Thriller in the Rose Bowl. Let's just put it out there. So I think Alabama wins this game.
Coach Prime did do that. Got insurance for his players.
I think Alabama wins this game, but I think they fail to cover. I think Michigan covers the spread in this game. I think there's just going to be it's going to be a bland game. Let's just put it that way, because it's been a kind of a down season, honestly, for Alabama, to their standards.
Yeah, but it's been a real down season for Michigan. Let's be honest.
Their biggest,
and Jalen Milroe, I think, is going to want to go out. I just feel like Jalen Milroe is going to want to go out, winning a big game like this against Michigan, whether they're had a great season or not. It's still Michigan. The name Michigan is still attached to this. And I just feel like Bama's going to cover this. I really do. I haven't liked this Michigan team all year. I'm going to go with Bama. All right, John. Louisville, 2.5-point favorite versus Washington in a bowl game here. And I got to start with this one. Have you guys looked at the ACC's record in bowl games before today started? Oh, yeah, there is no bowl games today. So have y'all looked at the ACC record? They are 1-9 in bowl games so far.
They'll be 2-9 after this.
1-9.
They'll be 2-9 after this.
That is atrocious, ACC. Come on, man. That's all I got to say.
I like Louisville in this game. They got a really good freshman running back in Isaac Brown. I think if this game tries to become a shootout, I think Washington's going to have a hard time staying with Louisville. Washington ranks 110th in the FBS and 22 points per game, but their defense has just not been great this year. Louisville can score. They can move the football, and Jeff Brom can earn his first bowl victory as a coach at his alma mater. That's a big thing for him. I think Louisville gets it done in the Sun Bowl, and I think they go out on top, and I think they kind of add to that atrocious record by adding just one more to it, but which is not going to be great. But they'll be 2-9 after this.
John, that's insanely bad.
It is
1-9.
It is. I agree. It's not great. I think Louisville wins this game.
What has happened to the ACC? In all honesty, what has happened to the ACC? You look at basketball and football. What's going on right now? What has happened to the ACC?
Used to be one of the premier conferences in college basketball. Used to be every year it was,
And football wasn't too bad.
Mm-mm.
But I'm going to tell you, man, like the ACC looks like a mid-major. That's what they look like right now.
It does.
There's one team in the top 25 in basketball, and they're 1-9 in bowl games.
Yep.
The ACC looks like a mid-major. And I'm being dead serious. However, saying that, I'm going to pick Louisville in this game. I'm going to go with you on this one, man. I think Louisville's going to win this one and make the ACC 2-9. All right, South Carolina is a 10-point favorite versus Illinois. John,
I'm going to tell you
about this one.
I'm going to tell you this might be the best game, non-playoff game that we've had this bowl season. You got a South Carolina team that's probably one of the hottest teams in the country. Lenore Sellers can end his season on a bang with what he's accomplished this year. Illinois, they're a 3-loss team. Illinois have just had, I think they've had 12 turnovers all year.
They had a good season too.
They did. Brett Bielema can get to a 10th victory here.
Yeah.
This will be a close game.
Yep.
I'm going to take Illinois to cover this game. I like South Carolina in this game, though. I think they win the game. I think they win by maybe a field goal, touchdown, something. I think this might be one of the better watched games in the bowl season.
I kind of agree with you here. I think the spread is a little too high. I think South Carolina probably does win this game. I think it's within that field goal to 7-point range probably. So give me the Illini to cover the spread. That's where I'm going to go with that one as well. The next one we're going to talk about is Baylor versus LSU. And I'm actually surprised in this one that Baylor was a 3.5-point favorite versus LSU.
I was a little bit, but to me, LSU has not played motivated lately. That's concerning in the season here. When you got like Dave Aranda, he's won its last 6 games. Baylor has. He's actually a former LSU defensive coordinator, which is kind of a added wrinkle to this game with LSU. LSU is 1-3 in games where the spread was 3 points or less, right? So are they going to show up motivated? Are they going to be ready to play? There's really not a lot to play for here. Baylor's probably playing for more, I think, because Dave Aranda's job has been kind of on the line here the last couple of seasons. Yeah. And I think a win over a team like LSU could boost his situation a little bit better going into next year and give him another year to maybe get it right. I kind of like Baylor in this game, Brad. I like the 3.5 points. I think Baylor's a pretty good team. I mean, they're not great, but they're a pretty good team in the Big 12. And I think that they beat LSU. LSU's just kind of went backwards for me late in the year. They've just not been great. And
Baylor did finish the year strong. LSU kind of struggled in the mid part of the season there for a little bit. I don't really know exactly who to pick in this game. I just thought it would be more of an even spread. The 3.5 seems kind of high to me. I thought it would be like a pick'em game or something is what I was thinking when I went to look it up. But I think I'm going to take the spread and take LSU. Now, talking about spreads, this one was wild.
Yeah, it's wild out there.
I'm going to be honest with you, John. Lane Kiffin has run his mouth and fingers on social media so much. They have put a 17-point spread against this Duke team. This Duke team, by the way, was 9-3.
The question is, I don't even believe Malik Murphy's playing. I don't even believe Malik Murphy's playing in this game.
Yeah, I don't know he may not be. I don't think he is. But my thing is this. Is Kiffin going to get his team prepared to play a game against a team that had a good season and as a 17-point favorite? They're going to have to kick some ass to cover that.
Here's the issue. You got Jackson Dart declared for the draft just a couple of days ago. Don't know if he's going to play here. You don't know if a bunch of the receivers
I don't know.
And you don't know if a bunch of the receivers are going to play. You don't have a lot to really go on right now. Malik Murphy, I don't know if he's going to play. I will say this. Duke will be motivated in this game, but I think Ole Miss will pull through for Lane Kiffin. This will be his third bowl victory after a playoff snub. So give me Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, but I'm going to take Duke to cover the spread because Ole Miss is just not – this is a game, and I look at this game from all different angles. You got Ole Miss, a team that got snubbed from the playoff. Then you got an Ole Miss team that their fans didn't like the fact that they had to play Duke in this game. It was a blog game for them. They didn't really want to play Duke. It's just there's not a lot going for it right now. Does that
And then you
Does
get
that
17 points.
does that cause a lot of less motivation for this team fan base? Because when that bowl game was announced on that Ole Miss X account, I went down through there and read some of the comments, and they was just not happy with the Duke opponent. They wasn't happy where they was at.
Yeah, but here's the deal, John. If they don't play worth a crap, like Kiffin's ran his mouth, like you got to back that up a little bit, right?
You do. I agree. You do. And I think here's the problem you got, Brad. You lose this game, Ole Miss, you're going to have plenty of ammunition from media members, fans, people are going to ride it right back to Lane Kiffin. And rightfully, deservedly so, because you just,
Yeah.
I'm in the
He's going to take some heat if they play bad. If they play bad in this game, Kiffin's going to take some heat.
Wonder what Platt will have in his back pocket this time, like he did the other day when he said,
Yeah,
he was talking about, like showing up to a football game, and whatnot. But,
yeah.
Give me Duke to cover this. I think
I don't know. The spread seems awfully high.
it is. It's a little high.
Yeah, I mean, 10 would be a lot to cover, in my opinion. 17 is crazy. I mean, I don't even – now, Malik Murphy is in the portal. I don't know if he's playing, if he's not, if he's left the team. I don't know what's going on. And that's going to hurt Duke if they are. I don't know if Jackson Dart's playing. I mean, that's what – it's so hard to pick. I'm going to take Duke to cover. I just think it seems awfully high. All right, we're going to get to the college football playoff. That's what we're going to end the show on. We got 4 college football playoff games. John, correct me if I am wrong, but I think this is the Friday night game. Boise State, Penn State. Is that the Friday night game this time?
It's at 8 o'clock on ABC. Yep.
It's the 31st game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it Friday? No, it's not Friday. It's the 31st. I said Friday. It's not a Friday game. It's a Tuesday game. On the 31st. Uh-oh. Something happened. But it's a Tuesday game on the 31st. I don't know why. I'm thinking Friday and Saturday. That's what they were last time. This time they're the 31st and the 1st. And I think this is the first game, Boise State versus Penn State. Penn State is an 11-point favorite here versus Boise State. And what I found odd about that one is this, guys. They were only an 8.5-point favorite against SMU. Now, I know they drilled SMU, but I really don't feel like that gives them the reason to put Penn State as an even more heavy favorite versus Boise State. And the reason why I say that is I think this Boise State team is a much better team than the SMU was.
Sorry about that.
I think Ashton Jeanty gives them that advantage. This Boise State team, as far as offensively, is for real. Penn State better watch out for this offense. I know they have a good defense, but this Boise State team is for real when it comes to offense. Now, can they slow down Penn State themselves? enough to win this game? I don't know. But I find the spread being larger than the SMU spread a little indifferent for me. I feel like that's not
my internet
correct.
cut out. That's why I ended up getting kicked out. But to my point, you got a player like you said, Ashton Genty. He's one of the best players in the country. However, in this game, he's going to go up against probably a Penn State defense that's probably one of the best defense in the country against the run, and they're capable of slowing him down. And if you put, I say, 8 men in a box, and you got Maddox Madsen, the quarterback for Boise State, you force them to beat them. And can Boise do that? And I don't have faith in Boise to throw the football and beat a team like Penn State in this kind of game. And if you remember right, Brad, Penn State has won these games quite often in this position. The Fiesta Bowl. Penn State has done really well at these games. And that's a mark to who they are and their tradition and their football team. They're 7-0 in this game. So I just don't think – I don't have – I've said it all year. I love Boise State. I love Ashton Genty. I love what he's done. I think he should have been the Heisman pick, but that was my opinion, me and yours. I don't have much confidence in Boise State getting enough stops to win this game. And that's why I think Penn State wins this game. And I think they cover the spread. I think this is where the run ends for Boise State. I could be wrong. I could, but –
And it may be. I've been really impressed with this Boise State team all year long. This is one of the teams from the when we did our preseason shows. I talked about Boise State and talked about how I thought they were going to make it to the college football playoff, and talked about Ashton Genty and like I was really high on this team. I think they have a lot of talent on this team. I'm not ready. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the opposite here. I'm going to take the 11 points and take Boise State. I don't know that Boise State's going to win this game, but I think I'm going to take the points and say that they at least keep this game close and competitive. It's not going to be an SMU game. That's what I'm going to say.
No, it's going to be a lot better than that.
All right. Now, I'm not sure of the order of these games on the first, but the first one we're going to talk about tonight is Arizona State versus Texas. Texas is a 12.5-point favorite.
Mm-hmm. I like Arizona State in this game. I think
they
got
the Big 12 winner versus Texas.
I think they got a decent offense. I could see Arizona State putting up 30 points in this game, as much as I could probably see them getting shut down as well. I have little to no faith in Arizona State getting stops on defense. They don't get a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. Texas's offensive line is really, really good. Quinn Ewers, I think, is going to be sitting in the pocket quite a bit this game against the secondary that really, Brad, hasn't been great. They've been good enough to get this far, but they haven't been great. Now, Texas has struggled at times in the red zone. Arizona State's red zone defense has been really, really bad. They ranked 101 nationally in points allowed per red zone possession, which I think that's a big key in this game. Longhorns run all over Clemson last week. And I think they're going to be able to do the opposite in this game and pass. And I think that's why they win this game. But I will say I'm going to take Arizona State to cover this spread. You give Arizona State and Willingham, time to prepare for this game. I think they can figure something out to do with this Texas team. But I just think this is where the run ends for the Sun Devils. I mean, it's been a great year for them. Unbelievable season. They've won some unbelievable games. They did things that they've done things nobody thought they would do. But they're going up against a really good Texas team that to me played like national champions last week. Like and not saying Clemson's not a great team, but they did what they had to do to win, and they took care of business. And they looked as complete of a team as I've seen them play last week in that game. So give me Texas in this game, but I will take Arizona State to cover the spread in this game.
All right, so this is the one team here. If you go back and you look at our preseason previews, I'm gonna boast on myself here now. I said that Georgia, Notre Dame. I actually had Penn State and Boise. I had Texas. I had Ohio State, and I had Oregon. There's one team that I really missed on, and that was Arizona State. This is the one team in the Big 12 that I really missed on. I didn't see Arizona State coming. I'll be honest with you. I thought Arizona, if there was going to be an Arizona team, they've done a fantastic job. Not only that, man, like they're pretty impressive. When you watch them play, they have played really good football.
Yeah.
And they've been impressive.
Their defense.
And Texas,
their defense in this game
better come ready to play.
Their defense in this game is concerning, though. Arizona State, it hasn't been great, and Texas has got some receivers that can create separation and can get the ball into their hands. Yeah, Bond and
Isaiah Bond
and Golden and Bolden. Like they got some really big threats on this team, and it's going to be hard to. And that secondary hasn't played real well this year at times, and they're going up against a pretty good receiving corps.
Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah,
that's a Bond reference, by the way.
James Bond,
a James Bond.
Yeah, Bond. Yeah, Bell.
All right, in this one, man, like Texas, I think has some of the best talent in the country. I really do like this Arizona State offense, and I think they'll put up some points on Texas here. But I see a score similar to the Clemson game, kind of like a 38-24, maybe 38-28. I'm going to take Arizona State, I think, and the points. But I do see a score 38-28, something like that, to be a final score in this game for Texas. All right. This is a rematch.
Yeah.
And the winner is the underdog. Ohio State is a 2.5-point favorite here, and they lost this game in the regular season by one in Eugene, but they lost.
Do people not know that this is the granddaddy of all granddaddies? The Rose Bowl, Keith Jackson reference. It's the granddaddy of them all, man. It's one of the –
Hey, man, and it's Ohio State versus Oregon, the old Big Ten Pac-12 matchup. It's actually pretty cool that it turned out to be that kind of a matchup as well. It's a pretty intriguing matchup in the Rose Bowl.
I'm going to be honest with you, Brad. I don't think we're going to see much difference in the first game. there was 63 points in that game. I won't be shocked if we see maybe more this time around. Oregon to me has been the most consistent team all year. They're worthy of their number one ranking. Its defense sometimes struggles at times.
The only undefeated team and not favored, by the way, John. They're not favored.
They're not. Oregon's offensive line was really, really good the first time they played Ohio State. I don't think the Ducks' offense will look much different. I think they're going to do what they do. Dillon Gabriel's gotten better as the season has went on. This game, for me, if you don't watch this game, I pity you. It's the granddaddy of them all. It's the Rose Bowl. It's the tradition, the pageantry, everything behind it. And this game, Brad, is shaping up to be an absolute classic of those Rose Bowl games that we've seen in years past.
Yep.
And this game might even be more – they might even be more scoring in this game than there was the first time around. I tell you what I'm going to do. I never pick Ohio State to win a game. Hardly ever. But this time I'm going to. I think they get revenge on Oregon. I think they win this game. This game is not an Austin Stadium. I think they're going to play a lot better. It's a neutral site. Ohio State fans travel. Oregon travels too. But there's nothing like OSU football in that state. And they're looking to prove a point. And they proved that last week by dominating a Tennessee team that many thought would be in the running. And they just exposed everything Tennessee did. Took them out of their game, took them out of their flow, never could get going, and just dominated from start to finish. Got out 21-0. Right out of the gate. It was over really quick.
Jump Street.
It was quick.
Jump Street. Yeah.
So give me Ohio State. They win this game. They get to the semifinals. And I'm going to be honest with you, Brad, I think if they play like they did against Tennessee, I think Ohio State will be your national champions. Now, it's different from week to week, but I think right now, if we're being fair, Ohio State.
And they could be. I mean, if they get past Oregon here, they very well could be.
Will Howard's playing at an elite level. They got Jeremiah, Bullfrog Smith playing for Ohio State.
Was a bullfrog.
Yeah, he's the real deal. Their defense is really, really good. So give me the Buckeyes. Now, I don't know what the over and under on this points are, but I'm going to bet the over because I believe there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game.
I didn't look at that, so I don't really know. All right, John, all of that said, and I agree with you. I love Ohio State's talent. Jeremiah Smith, the Bullfrog that we're talking about, is fantastic. Walker has been playing great. I mean, their running backs are spectacular. They have all the talent in the world. However, I really, really, really like the job that Dan Lanning has done in Oregon. I don't think that there is anybody else in this country, and I mean this from a very good place, man. I don't know that there is another coach in this country that I think is doing it the right way more so than Dan Lanning.
You know what I like
love
about
his
Dan Lanning?
Approach. I love the way that he loves his players. I love the way he puts it in his players' hands. He's a
good motivator. He sort of reminds me of Kirby, a little bit of Kirby Smart. He's got a little Kirby Smart.
Coach. Him and his wife do a fantastic job with these players. because of that, despite the fact I realize that Oregon's going to be coming after them because they beat them in Eugene. I mean, that Ohio State's going to be coming after them because they beat them in Eugene. From my own, I guess from my heart, I'm going to pick Oregon in this game because I feel like I want Lanning to get his due. But I won't be honest with you. If I was a betting man and you're going to put money on this one, I might go Ohio State. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to finish this up with Notre Dame versus Georgia. This is the Sugar Bowl. It's really odd to see Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, but they're there. But Georgia in the Sugar Bowl is a regular from the SEC. The ties for the Sugar Bowl, of course, Georgia's playing without Beck. They're starting a quarterback for the very first time. His first start ever.
Gunnar Stockton.
Yes. And they're still a 1-point favorite in the college football playoff against a very good Notre Dame team.
Listen,
and
Brad.
They're starting a first-time starting quarterback.
You know, when Georgia's defense, I said it in an article a couple of weeks ago. When they're at their best, there's nobody that can take over a game quite like Georgia. Their defense is really, really good. They can overwhelm any offense that they come in contact with. With that being said, Notre Dame is quite good. Now they lost at home to Northern Illinois. We get it, but that's been what
Week
back
2,
in early
something like that. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, and they made quite a run since that time. And I'm really shocked that the Irish are underdogs, to be honest, with the whole situation with Beck.
Especially with the quarterback,
being out. I mean, I know Georgia can be great, but you're putting the hands of this game in Gunnar Stockton. I expect a low-scoring game in this game, Brad.
I do too.
Any mistake,
14,
any mistake in this game is going to be costly for either side, I think. Interception,
21-17.
I'm going to say this, and I never do this. I never go against what I believe. But I trust Riley Leonard more than I do Gunnar Stockton. And I say that because in a game of this magnitude, you need a veteran guy in there that can lead his team, sort of like Carson Beck. And them not having Carson Beck is going to be, I know people say, well, Carson Beck there was games where he didn't play that great. He had the game against Ole Miss. He didn't look good in a couple of those other. Yes, but on the field.
You still don't want to be starting a new quarterback in the college football playoff.
His on the field presence, his leadership, his attitude when he comes out on the field, he knows that he can lead these guys together. It's going to take a monumental effort from the offensive side of the ball. And I'm not saying Gunnar Stockton is not a leader. That's not what I'm saying. But somebody's going to have to go talk to that kid and keep him composed, because in a game like this, like I said, mistakes and turnovers and screw-ups, you're not going to be able to get by with it against a team like Notre Dame as you would, say, a team like a Kentucky or South Carolina. You're going to have to really be focused and glazed in on the job at hand. And that's why I trust Riley Leonard more in this game. And I think when it's all said and done, I think Notre Dame goes to the semifinals. I think Georgia losing Beck has been the biggest loss of this whole college football playoff.
I agree with almost everything you're saying, but I cannot go against Georgia, man. I can't do it here. I
never do.
still
I always
think
felt in a
somehow,
game.
I still think somehow, some way, Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo will figure out something for Gunnar Stockton to manage, because let's be honest, that's what Stetson Bennett did not 2 years ago, but 3 years ago. He just managed the offense to a national
You talking about the
championship.
mailman? You talking about the mailman? The mailman Gunnar Stockton? Is he going to turn into the mailman Gunnar Stockton?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like they have had 3 weeks to come up with a game plan here. And if there is one coach that I feel like that can do that, it would be Kirby Smart. So I can't go, even though I know you're right. This is not a place where you want to be starting a new quarterback. Anybody else, I would be like, okay, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing here either, but I feel like Kirby Smart is the guy that can get it done. So I'm going to take Georgia. Rusty says it won't be the first time Georgia played Notre Dame with a quarterback on his first start. I mean, they done it with Stetson Bennett. I mean, I just feel like that there is no player, no coach with 3 weeks' time, basically, that could prepare a quarterback and a game plan better in this situation than Kirby Smart can. So I'm going to give Georgia the edge here, and I'm going to take the Bulldogs to advance to the semifinals. That's where I'm going to go.
The internet kind of bugged out again. We got a bunch of storms here.
Yeah.
So,
that's okay.
Here's I wanted to say.
Just finishing up my thoughts. So there's no coach like Kirby Smart that could do it.
Yeah, I wanted to say kind of one more thing real quick before we get off of here. You know, this is not nothing against Georgia, because I've known in these situations where, you know, Kirby Smart has been put in a corner. You know, you look at a couple of years ago, I think maybe a year or two ago, against Alabama. He loses to Alabama. He comes back and he wins the national championship. You push a guy like Kirby Smart into a corner, he's going to figure out how to maneuver things. You know, he's going to get his defense straight. He's going to get his offense.
I don't think there's any coach in the country that could do it better.
No, I
with 3
agree
weeks
with
game plan.
I just think Gunnar Stockton in this big moment is going to have some early troubles when it comes to Notre Dame. And Rusty brought up a good point.
But I don't look for this to be a high-scoring game. I think, John, it's like going to be – if Georgia's going to stay in this, they're going to have to count on their defense. It's going to have to be like a 21-17, 17-14, somewhere in that range kind of game. 24-21 at the most.
I will say this, Brad. January's coming up. It's fixing to get really harsh weather, cold, snow. It'd be a good time to stay in and watch these college football playoff games with all this going on. Stay out, stay in the heat, get warmed up by the fireplace, get your blankets, whatever you got to do, and just watch college football and watch these quarterfinals, because there's going to be some really good games in these games. Now, there might be a few games where they go opposite of what we want them to go. But overall, I think there's going to be a couple classics in these games, and they're going to be awesome to watch.
Got to be better than the first round games. They were all a bunch of blowouts.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
So hopefully we get some good games here in the quarterfinals. And on Friday, guys, we will come back and we will know the Final Four, the semifinals here in the college football playoff, and we will do some more talking about these teams and pick the semifinal games on Friday this week for our Game Day Pick'em. With that said, we're going to wrap this up tonight, and we appreciate you guys being with us. And this has been the Big Fuss, the Game Day Pick'em combo, Week 18, Season 3. We are picking the quarterfinals here. We've done some hot topics here for our Big Fuss show, and we appreciate you guys being with us.
Hey,
Join
Brad.
us tomorrow night.
I will say Happy New Year's to everybody coming up, because the New Year's fixing to come up. I just want to kind of shout out to everybody. Cheers to 2025 and what College SportsCast is doing with Stadium Rant and other things. It's been a fun, exciting experience, not experiment. It's been a fun experiment for me because I'm having to learn how to write articles, which is not bad. I'm doing better. I'm actually I'm a staff writer now, so each day you get better at it. So shout out to Tyler Lamb for letting me and Brad join his news circle,
Stadium Rant. Yeah.
Stadium Rant, and being able to do the things that we do with Kentucky sports and whatnot. Great group of guys. Go follow them at Stadium Rant. They have a Facebook page, and I think they got an X page, but I don't think the X page it's rarely used, is it, Brad? I mean, they don't get on it very often.
Yeah, they have one. Yeah.
I think the Facebook.
No, they don't post a lot from it.
I think they get on the Facebook one more than they do the X, I believe. But great news place to get your information for college sports, NFL, MLB.
Brand new website. It looks great.
Howie
website,
Fresh.
you get all kinds. I mean, we're anything.
Shout out to Howie Fresh for being with us.
Any sport.
He's doing NFL. Great NFL guy. Knows his NFL stuff. He's really good when it comes to NFL. So shout out to all them and whatnot. But hopefully we're going to have a great year, and we're going to continue pushing for coverage of the UK women and the men's basketball team, which the UK women won last night over Western. Great win. Hopefully that continues to go forward in the SEC play.
I was gonna jump in, and tell everybody, join us tomorrow night. We will do another Big Blue Hoops cast. We will talk about that win tomorrow night, and I might have a little more information, exciting information I will share with you guys about Kentucky men's basketball for us as well. It's for us with Kentucky men's basketball, so I might share that information with you guys tomorrow night as well. And we will preview the Brown game, and we'll preview the first game, SEC game for the women's versus Mississippi State on Thursday night.
And the Florida game
as well.
The Florida game is Saturday, so the men's side.
And the Florida game on Saturday.
Brad,
yeah, for the men.
Right out of the gate, man, they play the Florida Gators, man. A team that's undefeated. Like, come on now. Like, hell.
Undefeated, 13-0. Yep.
Don't get no easier than that, man.
Nope. All right, guys, join us tomorrow night. We will be on with the Big Blue Hoops cast tomorrow night, and we appreciate you guys. And y'all have I'm glad everybody had a safe and happy Merry Christmas, and we're looking forward to the new year. So, all right, y'all have a good night.
Have a good one.